everybody. Welcome back to the No Cover TV podcast. And that's right, I am Big Al, and look who's in the house. Cam's in the house from the band Altamadum, and I appreciate him stopping by. This is the second interview, and we're going to find out what's up with Altamadum and stuff like that. But first, I want to thank each of you out there checking out the No Cover TV podcast. All the audio shows that are on Spotify are now on YouTube, so you can check them out on YouTube. And all these great video shows that we do. It's just like being back on TV in the studio where anything goes, and I don't edit. So, hey, it's all good. Video, man. It's a great stuff. I want to thank everybody out there. Check out the future shows. We got a lot of great stuff coming up for the new year. A lot of great bands, all genres, all age groups, actually, all around the world. It's great. We're all around the world. That's the best thing. Getting their story, their music out around the world. And I wonder if Cam knows what I'm going to say next. My 3 favorite words. Support these artists, go to their shows, pay that cover charge if there is one, get to that swag table, get their CDs, albums, a hoodie, a t-shirt, a coffee mug, keychain, bumper sticker. It goes on. I'm sure they got a lot of other stuff that I can't even think about right now. But get to the stage, enjoy the show, stay afterwards if you can, meet these great artists, get an autograph. You know where they're going straight up, and that's their goal. And also, these artists love doing what they're doing to put a smile on your face, and in return, your smile kicks right back to them. Makes their heart glow. That's what they love doing this for. Music makes the world go around. So Cam, my friend, how you doing, brother? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, but thank you. Like I said earlier, thank you for having us back. We appreciate it. I know I'm -3 guys actually, but yeah, 4 actually, including our producer. So.
Okay. Well, Cam's representing Altamadum, and you guys kick ass. This guy's metal, rock, little punk thrown in there, and amazing. I've been going over the music again, and you got some new material out, it looks like.
Yeah.
Which is real cool. And it looks like you got a new member in the band.
We do. Yeah, actually, I guess a lot's happened since we last spoke. I know.
Yeah.
I think last we spoke, Al, we were talking about the covers project that we did.
Mm-hmm.
That was earlier in the year. I think that was in April, and we used it as a bit of a vetting process for this new vocalist. So I think we were chatting with you right in that transitional phase of, trying to find a new vocalist and, also having some new ideas in the background. So we selected Dre. His name's Andrea Malikala. That's his name. It's a mouthful. So we go with Dre. Yeah, he goes by Dre, and he's just an amazing addition to the band, both from an artistic standpoint and also just a personality standpoint. Like, he brings a lot of energy, and it's nice when we're in the studio and we're a little bit tired, and he's got that youthful enthusiasm where he comes in and just kind of because he's a little bit younger than us. So
wait a minute. Now you say youthful. I mean, oh, come on, you're young yourself. Now, how young can this kid be?
25.
25, okay.
25, yeah. So not a huge, we're all 80s.
Right,
80s, babies. So with the exception of our producer, Russ Elder, who we were talking about last time, super fortunate to have him in Thunder Sound Studio. But yeah, it's been amazing because we approached him because we were just blown away by what he was able to do on, specific songs. And, he's also in another local band as well. So he had lots of experience playing and playing shows, but not a lot of experience in the songwriting department at the time that we selected him.
Okay.
So that was the biggest thing, right? Is can we get together in a room and actually write something? Like, it's one thing to do a covers project. It's another thing to actually write something original with this new member. And because we've written, our catalog's pretty expansive when it comes to original material. Like, that's our primary focus. But our whole goal with the covers album was to vet a vocalist. Right. And upon selecting Dre, we sat down in the studio, and he had an idea, like a kind of a bit of a lyrical start and an instrumental kind of riff on the guitar.
Okay.
So in an evening in the studio, we were able to formulate a fully composed piece of music.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then so we all kind of just looked at each other, and we're like, okay, this is going to work. This is going to work out really, really well. Our style and his style, like you mentioned, the punk piece, right? He actually brings a bit of that into our sound. Yeah. So it works well with kind of our signature Altamadum sound. And so having him a part of this, it's kind of we were able to create a full album that we plan on releasing next month.
Next month, you're going to release that full album with the new singer guitar player.
Yep.
Great. Okay.
Yeah,
Now, where does Dre come from? Because you went to school with the other guys, didn't you?
that's right. Yeah.
Where, okay, so Dre's 25. How long has he been playing, and where'd he come from? Where'd you find this guy?
Yeah, and that's a great question. We found him from just the local music scene. So
Okay.
it was nice because we're doing this. We always wanted to do this project. It was kind of like on the back burner, and we reached out to a few different promoters in town. We reached out to a few different, musicians that we know, and we got a list of names basically, right? So we had 4 different singers on this album, and Dre was one of those people that I had known about just being in this band called Venom with his dad and his brother.
Oh,
Um,
really? Wow.
yeah. So I was able to kind of look online and see some videos of him singing, and Dre. I think a lot of his inspiration, speaking on behalf of him, I think I know him well enough now to kind of accurately represent him. But yeah, no, his influences are heavily like '80s based, punk rock. Like he loves Green Day.
Wow.
He loves hair metal, right? Like he plays them. And Bon Jovi's a big one for him, right? So I think it started with his dad, actually, Enzo. He's the drummer in their band, and
Okay.
so he kind of, I think, influenced Dre and his brother Fran to pick up instruments at a young age, and
Oh,
yeah, so that's really cool that they were able to kind of do that family thing, because I think that also allowed him to really grow quickly as an artist.
yeah, definitely expand. Definitely, especially when you got a dad that's a drummer back in the '80s, because all the drummers back then are just fucking nuts.
Yeah, I'll
So
make sure he sees this. Yeah, I'll make sure he gets a copy. Yeah.
that'd be good. Crazy era. I'm surprised I made it through, but
Oh
shit,
yeah,
that's great. Since he's the new member of the band, you being nice to him, or are you putting him through the ropes and pulling pranks and all kinds of stuff on him?
yeah, yeah. We've done a few of those. Yeah, it's really cool actually, because yeah, we have 2 singles out so far, um,
Okay.
and and they're both really like, we're really proud of them, and the last one we put out last month, and I think it's a good kind of indication in terms of what the album's going to sound like. But
Sure, sure.
yeah, it's cool. It's tricky, like to your point about like like it's important that he fits in, right? Because we're like
Right.
a family, right? It's such a
Exactly.
tight knit thing. So it's, if he's a great vocalist and guitar player, if he can't, like, if he didn't fit the mold, it just wouldn't work, right? So yeah.
No, no. Well, you need to bring out the pink panties and tell him he has to wear that for one of the shows. That's his initiation.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. We did a Motley Crue cover thing a while ago, and my drummer's still got his spandex. I think that he wore those like zebra skin spandex things. So we'll get it. We'll
That's
get him in those. Yeah, he'll do it willingly though. He's a good. That's the thing. He's a good sport.
that told you drummers are crazy, and that's Brandon, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. We got one of those.
Okay, that is great. So now, the new singer came aboard, and you did a lot of recording. But were you able to play out at all during this time?
Not yet.
Not
That
yet.
was the big thing. Like when we go into the studio, we kind of go into hibernation mode a little bit.
Sure.
Where our producer has the drums mic'd a certain way, and
Mhm.
the guitars are all direct input, so that's not a concern. But it's like, we want that continuity on the album. So, our main focus, essentially, especially with Dre being like new to the writing process, is we wanted to really focus on writing singles, writing an album. Because if we can prove that out, like if we can do that, I know he has live experience. We have a ton of live experience.
Oh
So
yeah.
our goal though is to do with the album coming out next month, is to do a CD release show.
Oh, that'd be great. I
Yeah,
want.
we're talking about albums actually, like creating a vinyl, like doing actual records and having them at the show, right? Because we've never
Yes.
that's one thing we haven't done yet. We haven't done vinyl, so
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that'd be great because vinyl's coming back, and I'll grab a couple copies.
yeah, we'll send one to you for sure.
That would be great. So now Dre comes in the band and stuff. You put out all these songs. Now, is he a part of the writing process of these new songs that came up, or is it what's going
Yeah, huge part of it actually.
on? Okay.
Um, we did a bit of a mixed approach where like the first single was us collaborating in the studio together. That was
Okay.
called Me, and that one's available on all platforms. The second single, No One in the Sky, was it was something that I had worked with our producer Russ Elder on, and we had it kind of in the archive. We had like a collection of music that we didn't release yet.
Okay.
So we pulled that one back, gave it a huge facelift, and then Dre sang on that. So he wrote and sang, the bulk of, like, in terms of the lyrics, the bulk
Okay.
of the album. And when it came to the instrumentals, there was about maybe half of the album that he and I and Brendan and James and Russ worked on together in the studio.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a mixed bag, because we also wanted to see if he could, like, if I write something instrumentally, can I
Sure.
bring it to him and he write lyrics to it and sing over top of it, right? So we're trying to strategically throw curveballs at him to see, like, like, test his limits, right? Like, see if, and then it made for a really dynamic album too, right? Because then we have all these dramatic pieces, and it was really cool.
Now, are you and Dre, sharing guitar parts? Are you going back and forth on lead rhythm, or is the one doing the other?
I cover most of the guitar work.
Okay.
Dre's rhythm is in a handful of the songs, and there's one song specifically where he does like a lead melody, like a melodic lead, and then it changes off to me to do kind of like the more dramatic, kind of intense solo, so the passionate solo. So it's nice, because he, that's another reason we selected him, is because he's a really strong guitar player, primarily rhythm guitar player. But phenomenal, right? Like he does a great job on the rhythm and singing. So that, that's kind of what we were looking for, is to have, especially for the live component, right? Like you mentioned earlier. Yeah.
Right. Now, these were all originals that you put together. Are you still planning on, doing some more covers to add?
It's not out of the question. I know that's not our main focus. Like, but I like the fact that Dre has shown us on the covers we have done so far, is that he can add his own original flair. So we take a cover, we make it our own, and so I like the fact that we can do that, right? Like, and it's, it'd be fun even in a set list to, throw a cover or two covers in, just that, that we know people enjoy. But it's not off the table, but I just know that I think our goal now moving forward is, once again, back on the original material. And
Okay. So now, when do you plan on trying to get out and play?
Probably either next month or shortly after.
Okay, so you're going to try to set up next summer and try to get out as much as possible and promote the new album and stuff?
Yeah, I think so. I want to be mindful of Dre's schedule too, like with, being in his own group. And I think he was talking a little bit about doing, like, having both of us on the same bill. So which would be cool too, as long as it's not too much for him, right? So we have, like, see, Al, like, when we started, we were maybe 15, like playing shows 15, 16, and that was like that was like what we did every weekend, is we were at a new club or bar or whatever, like playing shows all over. And then after getting, record label representation and, our studio, Thundersound Studio for us, and and having that luxury, because that's really what it is. Share the music internationally and get it heard all over the world. It's like, our main focus has it shifts back and forth, because we get the bug of recording and we just are tripping over ideas. And
there's so much to do.
And then we go through a huge spurt where we start playing live again.
Okay.
Play a slew of live stuff. So, but I do want to do a CD release party, and I would like that to kind of follow the album in fairly short order. So even if it's February or March, and then we can maybe book a couple of dates just to see, because that's like I think that's the final thing that we have to do with Dre. I think we've kind of done, we've done photo shoots, the albums, singles, interviews. He's been on interviews. Yeah. So.
All right. Okay. So now I'm in my head thinking of you guys on stage here and playing. Now, as time goes on, and you're going to keep getting better and better, more people, bigger stages and stuff. What kind of stage setup would you like to see as a possible, I would say, grand finale type stage? I mean, if you had the money, you were signed to $1 million deal, what would you want as far as effects and things on that stage to impress the fans?
Honestly, not a lot.
Not a lot.
So I think first and foremost, we're artists, and we for us, that's a big thing. Like we see music as a painter would, like a blank canvas kind of thing, right? Like we're very, we're big on the the creative element that's involved. And I think that for us, the music needs to take center stage.
Okay.
It needs to be the focal point. I know we've been fortunate to play with some of our idols, and we've played some pretty large stages like the double tiered,
Oh yeah.
and that's a lot of fun. But I think there's something really special about like an intimate venue when you're on you've practiced, you're on your game, and
Yeah.
you perform everything to its utmost. And
Right.
that feeling that the audience, like that reciprocal feeling of you and the audience, it has that energy. And I think that when we play larger areas like outdoor stages and stuff, like there's always that space in between you and
Yeah.
the audience, right?
Right.
And I hate that. I don't like that at all, because it feels like they're
Yeah.
watching a movie, right, or
Yeah.
something. It's like, and that there's nothing wrong with that. Those shows are a lot of fun too. But like I said, I love I like the lighting. Like lighting's important, and
Oh yeah.
to have a little bit of that, or like the logo behind you or whatever. But in addition to that, I'm not like the pyrotechnics are fun to watch when you're watching other rock shows and stuff. But
Right.
I don't necessarily think that we need it necessarily, right? Like I
No,
just it might
man,
yeah.
I'd blow the stage up. Fuck it.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, like I said, if it makes sense to do so, right? Like, but that's the other thing. It has to work with the set.
Right, right.
So yeah, something, I guess, to answer the question, like something that I guess really ties in well with the set list that we have
There
created,
you go.
right?
We need to give Brendan a 20-minute drum solo, with a gong behind him and some flames.
Do you know that song, Al, by Zeppelin, Moby Dick?
Yeah.
Right, the drum solo. So in the early days, we used to do that. We used
Did
to,
you really?
yeah, we used to have these like 3 set shows, and we'd go off, play the intro, go off the stage, and Brendan would do, how John Bonham played with his hands. Right?
Right.
Yeah, he would do that. We'd just go get a drink, and he'd be playing for like 10
Keep
minutes.
going at it.
And then we'd come back whenever we felt like it, right? We just let that go on. So,
That's great.
yeah.
See, you got some solid fans and some good fans following you, and the numbers keep building and stuff, and that's great. I love seeing that, and they're all around the world too, man. That's real cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. It's really that part's probably the most exciting part, because we're able to connect with people all over the
Right
world.
on. Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, over the last 4 years, like just doing interviews like this and getting connected, with great people, right? And
Yeah.
and hearing the impact that our music's had on people. Like people will tell us that they'll send us a message directly and say that,
Yeah, that's great.
yeah, one person mentioned that one of our songs saved their lives.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah, and that was like, that transcended anything that I ever envisioned when I picked up a guitar, and or just how music makes people feel. Because we know
yeah.
how it makes us feel when we listen
Right.
to a song that we like, or when we create
Yeah.
a song, you know, and to hear that, someone that we've never met, it impacts them on such a large scale. It's like, wow, like that just, you
Mhm.
know, that. But once again, that's all, as great as that is, it's secondary to us. Like our main focus is creating art, sharing that art with the world, and then however that makes other people feel, we love, connecting and hearing what people have to say. And like you and I connect through Instagram. That's kind of how we, connect with the bulk of, or I should say, I connect with the bulk of, our listeners. And we're fortunate because we've been able to share our music, and there's been a lot of people who have helped us share the music internationally, and it's been really fun. Yeah.
Very nice. Buy any new guitars lately?
No, I'm one of the, no, see, like if I start, I'll just go off and buy a bunch. Yeah.
Hey,
Like,
Mary,
I can't just have like one and just be done with it, eh? So it's,
I hear you. I hear you. Now, did you guys ever think of now you got it seems like the perfect match with Dre and everything. Everything's going running smooth here. You get these songs out there. Did you ever think about setting down those electric guitars and doing acoustically a few songs and putting them down on track?
yeah, actually, that's another good point, because we, in the past, what we've done with albums is we've released a deluxe version of an album like that.
Okay.
We add additional, and what we've done in that sense is sometimes we'll do a stripped down version of one of the original songs on the album. Yeah, and so we were talking about that actually, as we're very close to having this album be finalized. Actually, our producer right now is going through the mastering process, so we're
Okay.
maybe 3/4
Close.
way done. Yeah, we're very close.
Real close. Real close. Do
Yeah.
we have a name for this album?
Yeah, it's Through Darkness, Through Fire.
Through Darkness, Through Fire. I like that. That's deep, man. Who thought of this?
Well, it was kind of a joint effort because it was actually one of the lyrics in one of the songs.
Oh, okay.
Living in Your Shadow. It's track 4 on the album, and Dre said, I think it's in a verse or a chorus. He said, "Through darkness and through fire," and that's not what the song's called, right?
Okay.
We didn't want to pick a title for like a self-titled thing or like one of the track titles. So
Right.
I was looking for a line in one of the songs that was more subtle that I could pull from that represented the album, right?
Right on.
And Through Darkness and Through Fire, we just removed the and called it Through Darkness, Through Fire. And the artwork that James, our bass player, he created around that title was pretty profound. Yeah, it was actually cool because it was Dre's vocal, and then it was my idea, and then our producer suggested dropping the and just Through Darkness, Through Fire, and then James really liked that, and Brendan, and then James created this artwork that was kind of built around that whole idea. And so I think that's a hard part actually in creating an album is how do you like come up with a title that encompasses the
whole grasp.
the drama and the scope of an album, and it's hard to do. So that just seemed to work. Also, too, like even coming through that moment of uncertainty where we're looking for a different vocalist, and it's overcoming odds and being able to. And some of the subject matter, it's very up tempo, the album, but it's also very dark in some of the subject matter that it touches on. So, but not in a way that I think will connect with a lot of people, in a way that I think a lot of people will be able to relate to it. So.
Oh, okay. All right. So now, are you still working with from Depths Entertainment doing PR? Or are they still doing PR for you? What's going on?
Yeah, we're doing that. We're also we're working with a few other different like they're the one that we're kind of connecting with the most.
Okay.
But also working with other like partners, like just different groups, kind of around the.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure. So yeah.
Definitely. I want to talk about a few songs now. Is this the new song, "No One in the Sky"?
That's the latest single. Yeah,
that's the latest, and I checked out the video and stuff. I'm liking that. Before I get to the song, who's doing the video? Who produced this and shot
it? Actually, it was me.
Yeah, Cam did it.
yeah, it was. So, yeah, exactly. So it's iPhone, exactly. That's what I used. Yeah. It was nice because I have this set up at home that's fairly recent, and it has all this editing software on it. So I thought, you know what, like it'd be kind of cool. Like I wanted to do. We've done music videos in the past, but I wanted to kind of bring people into the studio. Like bring people into our Thunder sound. And I mean, it's something that we're very proud of. And, so it's like, how do we do that? How do we capture the essence of like us recording? Because we haven't done that in the past. We've done, little promo videos or, shots of Brendan playing the drums or me playing the guitar. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to let's try this. Right. So I just grabbed a couple shots or a few shots of each member. I imported it into the editing software and was just able to kind of throw it together and yeah, just to kind of help illustrate, put a, kind of an image to the whole, creative process. So, yeah.
And I like this song because, it's melodic metal. It's a great song. Who came up with this?
So I wrote the music primarily. It was like, that was one of the ones from the vault that we had kind of in the background. And I pulled this idea from there. Wrote it in my basement, mostly the whole song in terms of like all the guitar parts, like the instrumental components.
Sure.
Went to the studio, added some keys to it. So I added some some keyboard to it, kind of, and Russ suppressed it. So it's kind of adding to the ambient feel of the song. And he spaced it out so it just sounded huge, even just with the guitars and the keyboard. And then that inspired Brendan to start playing the drums, and Dre sitting there writing all these lyrics down. And within a night we had basically like the whole skeleton of that song. And I was so impressed with what Russ was able to do on that song in a short time, to the point where we all kind of looked at each other and were like, wow, like this should be a single, because it was the one
Right.
thing that was it was actually, I think it was the final track of the album.
Okay.
Like in terms of like not in terms of order, but in terms of like the final song to be written. And we knew we needed a ballad kind of thing that we wanted to add. And so
Sure.
that's how it started. And and I loved the production. I loved what Dre was able to do with his vocal in that song. And we
All
just
right.
kept adding on to it. And then we thought, you know what, this is it's a dramatic song, because it goes from light to heavier to light to, it's kind of got those different moods.
Right.
And it ramps up the intensity in the bridge. And I just thought it was just a good indication of what was to come with the other 8 songs on the album. So
Definitely is a great song. A few other songs. Let's talk about "Call to Me." Is that newer?
that was the first single. So that was the one that was the first out of the two singles that we've released so far on the album. And that's the one that Dre had an idea for the song. And
Okay.
he came to the studio and we built it. He actually had 2 different riffs. And I suggested, why don't we take that and have it be the intro, and like songwriting 101, right? And we were,
Right. Yeah.
kind of going through it together. And yeah, it was really cool, because that one really features a lot of his more punk rock influences, like pop punk, like
Okay.
but it also really has that Ultimatum sound to it. So
And I want to add that it sounded like Brendan, has got a brand new crash cymbal because he's really going to town on that. I like it.
he might be, yeah, he might be. He's always getting new stuff for his kit, and his kit's yeah, it's
All
quite
the accessories,
impressive.
man.
Yeah.
That's,
There's photos on our Instagram of his kit, and it's just this, this monster thing.
it's like back in my day, everybody had the cage rack. So, it's like
That's
20 drums and 50 cymbals. It's like, come on, guys.
that was norm. Yeah, that was the norm. Eh? Yeah, I know what you're saying.
That's
Yeah, it's hard for the life.
and I never helped my drummer carry a damn thing. I wonder why he used to throw sticks.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Yeah.
We have those stories too. Yeah.
Right. I got this song here. We got to talk about this one. I hit play on this song, and I took him back because this is different. This is real different. So called.
Oh, So Cold?
Yeah. Now that's wholly off the spectrum of what you're doing. Where did
Yeah.
this come from?
That's yeah, interesting you bring that up. That song is probably from one of the albums that I'm most proud of that we've done in terms of like an art statement, an artistic statement.
You're right on. I'm thinking, did you drop acid and listen to Floyd and then do the song or something? What's
Oh,
up?
that's a huge thank you for that. That Russell, our producer's gonna like to hear that. But yeah, no, that album is actually, in my mind, and we all have different perspectives on this, but in my mind, that's probably the most ambient album. It's called Born in the Afterglow, and
Yeah.
that was written during COVID, and I think we released that one in 2021, and that one's probably it's not, it's definitely not our most aggressive. It's probably our most, subdued, like subtle kind of album, but it has a lot of really cool ambient
It's
style.
really cool.
Yeah,
Definitely.
thank you.
I definitely took back from that. I was like, wow, I'm liking this.
Yeah. That whole album, if you're into that kind of, like, that whole album is kind of that. So
Okay.
it's very artistic. Really relies heavily on the piano. A
Yeah.
lot of really cool guitar parts, like I said, that I spent a lot of time. We kind of tried to just reshape the mold a little bit. Like,
Mm.
we
You
wanted
sure?
to do something, something a little bit more artistic, and just kind of piano driven.
We'll do more of those. Those are really cool. I like
Thank
that.
you.
Now, we've got to definitely talk about the cover because we talked about covers the last interview. And the one cover we talked about was Run to the Hills by Iron Maiden that you covered,
Yes.
which is great. And do you remember the song that I requested that you covered?
Was it a Maiden song?
Yes. No, Sabbath.
Was it Sweet Leaf?
War Pigs.
War Pigs, right. Sorry, I knew it was, someone said Sweet Leaf, I thought. So yeah.
War pigs. Okay, and then I see. I'm looking. I didn't see this last time. Talk dirty to me, really?
Yeah.
That's
That's
great.
Trey. That's Trey, yeah. That's Trey singing on that one. So
That's fun because I worked with Brett Michaels, and it just brings me back. It's a lot of fun.
oh nice. Nice. Actually that was my first concert. My first concert was Brett Michaels.
How old were you?
Grade 8, so I was probably, I don't know. Yeah, probably around. Well, I was just starting to play the guitar. Actually, it was a friend of mine who inspired me to play. I think we were 11 or 12, maybe.
What year was this?
Oh God, I don't know.
Ah, man.
Maybe,
Maybe
no, it
old.
would have probably been. When would that have been? Maybe 2000, 2004, 2005.
2004, 2005. So you saw Brett. Let me just throw this question out there. What 80s band did you always want to see or would like to see that you if they ever came back out?
Yeah, that's a great. I grew up on that stuff too, right? Like that's a big part. I don't talk about that as much lately, but '80s music, like '80s bands, really inspired me. I got to see Guns N' Roses
Oh,
last year in
nice.
in the Rogers Center, and that was they played for a long time. But I think for me, it's actually more the underrated '80s bands that like people just don't talk enough about that I'd like to go like. I was always a big fan of Cinderella. Like
Oh yeah, definitely.
Tom Kiefer's vocal, I really like the blues
Right.
influence, and with his like kind of grittier voice.
Yeah.
Um, Another LA Guns.
Oh, LA Guns,
I
beautiful.
love
LA.
LA Guns. Tracy Guns. I think he's a great guitar
Oh yeah.
player. And,
Yeah.
we were
He's
on the
still
radio actually with him in Nottingham, England. Like just the same song. Like they played one of our songs with one of their songs back to back,
okay.
which was kind
Nice.
of cool. But
That's,
Maybe Warrant or even the band Kicks. Like Kicks
oh,
was.
Kicks, yeah. So
Yeah,
unfortunately, Warren won't be out, unfortunately, because
that's right. Yeah. Yeah, but Janie Lane was, I know,
he was
I know he's not
amazing.
with us anymore, but yeah, he
Yeah.
was a great vocalist. I just felt very underrated. Like even as a songwriter, like in that era, like he like it wasn't just all the same with them. Like it was, they had some interesting, parts and songs and stuff like that.
Right, right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was definitely a decade I will never forget. That's for
I
sure.
can imagine.
And so, Cam, I really appreciate you coming back on the podcast today, my friend. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you
You
for
know,
having me, Al. Yeah.
so, after the release of this new album, what are we doing? Are we going to start booking shows, or are we going to start going back in the studio to get another one out?
A bit of both, I think. Actually,
Well,
I think we seem to have this real knack, and it's not a bad thing to have. Is just the ability to be tripping over ourselves with ideas, and
right
so
on.
naturally, I think you put a few of us in a room, we're gonna, and a few instruments. I'm sure we're gonna come up with something by mistake, even so.
Right on.
Um, and then shows. Yeah, we're gonna be playing shows. I'd like to, like I said, have the CD release party, and I'd also like to schedule more kind of throughout the year. But the focus being around also doing interviews and doing press and doing
Sure.
that stuff. So that's kind of our main focus is sharing the music internationally. So sometimes we skip the live thing and go to the studio and send it
Okay, sure.
to press and then back in the studio. So
Well, you're young. This is something I would do at your age, and probably well, I won't say I did it, but you live in a smaller town. Do you guys have water towers in that town?
no,
You don't have no water towers.
nope.
Well, I was gonna say go ahead and tag that with Ultimatum on top of that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't. We're one of the smaller towns. Yeah, it's not as big where we are, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, why not, man? Own that town, man. Like I said, Ultimatum, Cam representing the band. I appreciate Cam being in the house. I wish the other guys could have been here. And Dre, it's nice to meet you, even though I didn't meet you, though. And
Yeah.
look up for those big panties. Yeah.
He'll be watching this, so
Anybody you want to say hi, hey, or whatever? This is your show, Cam.
awesome. Yeah, just thank you to everyone who's, supported us and, taking the time to come out to a show and buy any kind of merchandise or album. And, for those who are gonna hopefully purchase records in the near future, which is cool, because even for the album, we haven't done a physical album release in some time.
Okay.
So we've done it all digitally, right? Like on Spotify, Apple, so that's the other thing to shout out, I guess, is our music is available on all streaming platforms. And
right on.
Instagram, we have our own website, altamadum.com. But Instagram's probably the best way to get in contact with us with a quick response, because we're always monitoring that and using that to push our music. So
good deal, Cam. I appreciate it, brother. We're going to get out of here. Everybody check out the future shows, No Cover TV. And if you get to Thunder Bay, Canada there, get and check out Altamadum with these guys here. They're going to knock your socks off. That's for sure. Cam, I want you back 6 months or so. I want to find out what's going on with this new album and stuff. All right?
Yeah, we would love to. And I'll bring the other guys with me next time.
Most definitely. All right. You have a good one and tell everybody hey for me. All right, brother?
Will do, Al. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We're out of here. Peace, everybody.
Bye-bye.